Welcome back to Armored Warfare. This time I'm going to be playing a couple of matches with artillery, since in the recent patch 0.12 an undocumented change occurred in which artillery now gets dedicated spawn positions on the map away from the rest of the team. As you can see right here on the new Starry Night map, I am playing my Palmaria tier 6 artillery, and I am starting on the northern end of the map along a mountainous road, while the rest of my team is starting further at the south inside of the city. Now, I haven't yet quite figured out that the starting position is actually the perfect starting position to get some shots into that city street right over there, and I have moved a little further north, a little further south than I should have really done, and I can't take as many shots as I would have liked. But if you have ever played Starry Night, you will know that there is quite a lot of enemy artillery on this map, and they always start on that ridge over on the east, and since they spawn immediately together with the rest of the enemy team, as soon as you start shooting in artillery, they will be able to shoot back at you. So my first order of business is not to clear the town, as it would be if I was in a main battle tank or any of the other classes, but rather I should focus on taking out the enemy artillery before they shoot me. Fortunately, in PvE, just like in PvP, if the enemy artillery takes a shot, you can see them visible. Even though the dot on the map representing them is quite large, they will always be pretty much right at the center, and they are visible here, even though they don't actually show up as spotted. So in this way I can get rid of this guy here. Thankfully the Palmaria is an autoloader with a 3-shot magazine, and I was able to take him down before he could shoot me again. My turret is already damaged, but I'm not absolutely worried about that. Self-propelled guns aren't really known for fast turret traverse anyway, so this change doesn't really affect me too much. Now I'm going to try and light up enemies coming down that hill for my team. Unfortunately, I seem to have misjudged the angle. Since the new patch, the enemy spawns have been kind of randomized. I didn't really know where the perfect spot for the elimination grenade would be. But as luck would have it, we have our first raid boss and 2 more artillery. My team is kind enough to get rid of this Panzerhaubitze 2000 and leaves me to pick up the slack over there. I couldn't really see where the enemy was exactly, and I'm going to try my luck with another elimination round. Elimination round, if you have never played artillery, is pretty much the best invention for the artillery class that has ever occurred. It is simply the best way to help your entire team. Smoke grenades can be situationally useful, but elimination rounds will be handy in just about every match you're ever going to play if you decide to go for artillery. Unfortunately, it only becomes available on the tier 6s. With the raid boss taken care of, we can start cleaning up towards the eastern side of the map and any stragglers that spawn on the north, to get ready for the third objective that will be spawning at the northeastern corner of the map. This Terminator here is actually very satisfying to kill for me because, as I have stated in previous videos, Terminators have always been kind of a tough kill for me. But with the high explosive grenades from an artillery, they go down really quite easily. I was actually kind of sad that this Terminator 2 was taken down before I could get the shot off. This is actually a rather common occurrence in this game. My teammates are pretty on the ball and will, just like here, often shoot enemies before my shot can reach them. Of course, part of that is also that I'm not the best artillery player in the world. I only play it quite rarely, and I have to admit that I have not yet fully figured out all the ins and outs of my bullet travel time and so on. At this point here, I should really have relocated. If I zoom out for a second, just after, yeah, there we are, there's this mountain path here, which I really should have taken a little earlier. I could say that I was waiting for the final objective to pop up, but no, I actually forgotten that this was an option. There is a handy little bush here, and if you camp behind this, nothing except enemy artillery is ever going to bother you, and you can just take the hand off the keyboard, use the other one for the aiming, and just have fun playing the game. Just like in World of Tanks, except you don't do as much damage. Our team is of course going to win this match. Once you have made it to the third objective, there is essentially no threat to your team anymore, unless you have already like lost 2 members of your team or whatever, or nobody has any idea how to angle this armor, in which case, how are you already on the third objective? Except for those cases, you are not going to lose the match at this point. But there's another artillery just spawned, and I am once again very sorry that I wasn't the one to get the kill. Even when I am playing artillery, I absolutely hate artillery and love shooting artillery. Look at that. I don't usually play artillery because it's just a much too passive of a playstyle for me, but I cannot deny that it is rather satisfying to see the long-range shots that you take land on target and take out modules and occasionally kill crew. And if you have never played artillery, for whatever reason, do give it a shot. At least the tier 3 Abbott, I believe. Yeah, the tier 3 Abbott is really quite accessible for the average user, and it is an autoloader just like this. It has a longer reload than the Palmaria, but not really that long. You can get used to it, and it'll fire 3 shots like the Palmaria before it has to reload. Unfortunately, the Abbott doesn't have any elimination rounds, since, like I said, elimination rounds only start coming into play at tier 6 and higher. We are about 40 seconds away from winning this match here, and there's a Stingray 2 trying to get into our cap circle. That is, even if we were to leave him alone to his own devices, he would have no chance of capping before the timer ran out, so that was quite the wasted effort on the part of the AI. Alright, let's go over to the next one, which is also Stormy Night. Starry Night, sorry, I always get it confused with Stormy Winter. This time, however, I am driving the M109 Tier 4 artillery. This one doesn't have any illumination rounds, and it is not an autoloader, so you have to reload 10 seconds between each shot. In return, it has a higher maximum damage and quite a lot more splash damage. Having previously experienced the angles that are in play here, I'm not going to move at the beginning of the match. I am going to stay right where I am, and I have free line of fire along this avenue here. The enemy is already spawning, and this time I can get a good shot in right away. There's my first kill. How often do you see that? Artillery getting the first kill of the match. Doesn't happen as often as artillery players would like, does it? Alright, and I believe there's another one who's going to go down. Oh, unfortunately I didn't get him. But still, as you can see, you are not useless in a city fight in the beginning of a match as artillery. These new spawn points are worth every minute of development time that went into doing them. Alright, since I don't have illumination rounds, I have no idea where exactly this enemy artillery is right now. So I bait him by taking another shot and analyzing on the map where he is, and I'm just going to keep my eye on that place and hope that he takes a shot at one of my teammates sooner or later. Unfortunately, as the PvE playing Armored Warfare community is well aware, PvE artillery pretty much never changes targets once it has acquired one. As soon as a PvE artillery bot has chosen you as his dedicated target, he is going to wait for you to pop back up, won't shoot at any other targets until either you or he is dead. Fortunately, I am in artillery and I can take him down sooner or later. Let's see if I can assist my team in taking this raid boss out first, however. It's only an LAV 159 Pack 90. Sorry, AMX 10P Pack 90. What am I thinking? So my high explosive shells are actually quite decent against it. Got hit in against this other AMX 10P Pack 90, but the raid boss was dead before I could get the shot off. Like I said, not such a great artillery player. Right, the enemy artillery up at the ridge seems to either be dead or have... Ah, there's another one. That is not the same one who was shooting at me previously. But yeah, the first one seems to either be dead or have actually made the curious decision to stop shooting at me, which would be really unusual. I have never actually seen that happen in a confirmed way. But that guy is absolutely dead now. There we are. Killed his driver, so I know exactly where he's going to be. I'm not going to move too much. And he doesn't even turn his turret. Like I said, he has acquired one of my teammates as his target. He doesn't even think about shooting me in this case. Now I'm going to move up this road here a little earlier than in the last match. Like I said before, I should have taken this quite a lot sooner previously, and I believe this right here is about the correct time to go up there. Your spawn is safe. Sorry, your objective is safe. The enemies down there have been cleared, and you will now have to take long-range shots to the other side of the bridge. So this vantage position gives you quite the angle advantage. Let's see, can I take this M90? M60, sorry. No, but 3 critical module damages. That is wonderful. This is why people play artillery, except other than the thing with not having to use both hands to play. I'm going to ping here for the secondary objective, because it doesn't seem like anybody is taking care of it. And actually previously I had a match, I believe it was the one I showed, I'm not really sure, where nobody actually completed the 3rd secondary objective, and we ended up losing out on that bonus. I didn't want to risk that again. Alright. There we are. Interestingly, as you can see, I damaged both of his tracks at the same time. That's high explosive for you, especially with the 109 and his gigantic splash radius. Again, the enemy is dead before I could even shoot. Too bad, would have made for a nice shot, but yeah, whatever. At least one team took him down and he didn't kill anybody before he went away. Okay, let's see, can I get this guy? The reload time on the M109 isn't really the problem, the aim time will get you much more often. And there's another hit from an artillery player. Well, artillery bot, I should say. And once again, I can't be certain that I know where he is. I was just guessing at this point, and I totally... That was... I mean, did you see that? A one-shot kill. I killed 3 of his modules, and he caught on fire and exploded. I can't tell you how satisfying that was. If you've never played artillery, do it just for moments like that. Alright, but our base is currently being kept. I could see, and I believe in M4? I'm not sure. Some tank was just... Ah, there he is in M41. Alright. He was spotted earlier, and I took a shot guessing where he might be. Wasn't there, but as soon as he popped up, I could take off his track and keep him in place for my team. Or, as it turned out, for myself. Okay, I don't think there are very many enemies left, only 30 seconds left in the game. Generally, this is about the time where our team is going to kill the last enemy remaining tank. Though I believe in this particular case, we don't actually get to kill the last one, and the timer will tick down, which on Starry Night is a rarity. I believe this only happened twice before to me, and since the release of patch 0.12, I have played a lot of games on this map. No single match on the other 2 new maps, which they just never showed up on my queue. I don't know what it is. But yeah, Starry Night is available to me most of the time, and since it's a new map, it's what I play mostly. Alright, let's get over to the next match. And something a little brighter for a change. This is Quarterback, and I am once again in my Palmaria. As you can see, even on the older maps, like Quarterback, which has been in from the beginning, artillery now gets dedicated spawn points on a higher elevation, away from the pack of the team, and with a further range to the targets, making the angle of attack better. Sorry, I couldn't think of another word. Alright, let's see. Let's see if I can actually do some damage here. Okay, I can see the supply vehicles for the secondary objective. They are not actually spotted yet. I can see those two, but I know that there's a tank going to be coming around the corner any second now. Except that I had forgotten that in patch 0.12 spawn positions have been randomized and nobody actually came from there. We are now over 30 seconds into the map and no enemy has been spotted yet, and I'm beginning to think maybe we encountered a bug in the new patch, but as it turns out, nope, they are just all coming from the front. And as you can see, I turned off my UI at this point. I wanted to take a good screenshot for the intro. I'm going to do that a couple of times during the game. Don't pay any attention. Okay, and considering that the first 30 seconds of this match had absolutely nothing in regards to enemy tanks, they are now really coming out of the woodworks. I just gave my colleague over there a little bit of smoke cover. The enemy team is mostly spotted by the rest of my team, so he wasn't really needed as a spotter over there. We had a multitude of targets, and he was just about to be surrounded, outflanked, and most likely killed. So I decided to give him some smoke. Now, I'm going to take shots at this artillery that decided to shoot me first. And that didn't look like it hit, but it did 218 damage, so I must have hit. Another good hit, and there he's down. Well, that's the splash radius of an artillery for you. None of these hits seemed visually to me to be hits, but the results speak for themselves. I actually penetrated this Begleitpanzer, which is always satisfying. Was that a Begleitpanzer? Expeditionary tank, I knew it. That shape is quite unmistakable. Alright, there's another screenshot opportunity there. Which is fine. I'm reloading anyway, I can't do anything at the moment, and why not take the moment for a little screenshot. Right. There's another kill. And can I get a third one? No, unfortunate. Okay, but that was a pretty good clip. I think I made the most of that. Okay, my team has been advancing quite nicely. We have already secured all 5 supply vehicles. And at this point I'm trying to see if I can shoot into the cap circle, which I cannot, so I need to reposition myself. I'm not very confident in my ability to drive backwards, however, so I take the long way around. And as it's going to turn out, this is a very good spot I picked. I'm going to nail a shot that I would not have otherwise been able to make. That wasn't it, but that was quite a nice one. 5 module damage. Another 5 module damage. And 1 module taken out, but unfortunately not a kill. Well, artillery in armored warfare is not a particular carry, as you would call it, in something like a MOBA, like League of Legends, like Dota, like Heroes of New Earth. They are essentially harassers. They can disable, immobilize, they can force people out of cover. In World of Tanks, artillery was initially intended to be used against camping, to discourage that kind of behavior, and instead artillery has become something of an overpowered killing machine at long ranges, as long as they have somebody to spot for them. In armored warfare you really can't usually, certain exceptions apply, see the last match, can't usually take somebody out in a single shot. Usually you can't take somebody out in a single clip from your autoloaders, but you definitely can discourage people from being where they are. And this guy, I don't even really land in the same postal code as my shots don't even land in the same postal code as him, and I still got a kill. That is the one I was speaking about earlier. the shot I might not have been able to make otherwise. And I have no idea what happened to the AI here. Usually the Armored Warfare AI is not that bad, but this guy is just humping this Derek. Which, okay, if that's what you're into, I can take advantage of that. Okay. The next 10 seconds are going to be spent reloading, so I take a look around, see that my buddy here is in danger, and I'm torn between a smoke grenade and elimination grenade, but decide to light up this guy over there, so he must know that he's there, and maybe get the idea that a tactical retreat is appropriate, but unfortunately he was taken down, and we won't get the teamwork award for this match. Which is unfortunate, but so is life. Alright, there's another opportunity for an illumination round here, and at this point I was wondering for a second why he wasn't getting into my elimination radius. I had thought that he would be moving forward more swiftly, but he actually decided to stop over there just at the edge of my detection radius, which fortunately was enough. And I believe the next shot is going to be the one that I have used for the video thumbnail, if you watched it at the beginning of the video. No, wasn't my next one. My next one was a smoke round. Right. Not that one either, although that was satisfying. Alright. Any moment I should be turning off my... Oh, okay. Now the next shot. That's the one. I'm going to be turning off my interface with F2. And then with F10 I'm going to take a screenshot. There. Did you recognize that? Ha. I thought it was quite well timed. Okay, my team is currently winning. This match is effectively over, so I'm going to quit my commentary here. As a general commentary on the new patch, the changes to artillery and their spawn position seem to be entirely positive to me. It's really helped, especially the early game, because you don't have to scramble to get into position, get yourself turned around, get yourself pre-aimed, and in the meantime your team has already killed 5 people. With this change now you can be an effective part of the team from the beginning of the match all the way to the end. Alright folks, thank you very much for listening, have a nice day, and until next time, 07 to you out there.